Committee on Finance, a standing committee of the Wisconsin legislature, has taken public testimony on the state budget during 4 hearings around the state. Today, they were in the Wisconsin Dells.
NBC 15's Mackenzie Davis has more from lawmakers on what will be prioritized in the next 2-year budget and what members of the public say should be prioritized.
From Eau Claire to Waukesha, the Joint Committee on Finance has been hearing from Wisconsinites on what they think should be priorities in the next state budget.
Trying to get the Joint Finance Committee to shape up or ship out.
People from across the Badger State gathered in the Wisconsin Dells Wednesday to tell the committee about issues from school lunches.
Healthy meals are a foundational need for student learning.
To clean water and broadband access.
We feel like there are a lot of win-wins, and things like working on water and broadband go a really long way.
One thing members of the committee already say will be a priority in the state budget is education.
We're definitely going to be funding K-12 education at a high level. It's our #1 priority.
UW-Whitewater Chancellor Dr. Corey King asking the members of the Joint Finance Committee to support a renovation project on campus, which houses the university's College of Education.
Renovating this project is a must. The core building system is failing. The replacement parts are unavailable.
Sauk County resident Tom Kriegel is advising Wisconsin lawmakers to look to our neighbors to the west.
If the Wisconsin legislature really wants to serve the people well, they should follow the example of Minnesota. That's the simplest way that I can give broad guidance to making changes.
In the Wisconsin Dells, Mackenzie Davis, NBC 15 News.